Hello, everybody. Welcome to Over the Line. We are a football debate show by fans for fans. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Davo, and I am the host of the show. Now, due to technical difficulties, I've had to record this intro this way and stick it in front of the video that you're about to watch. Apologies for that. It will be better in future, okay? Now, joining me on our first show tonight are a group of my friends. We have Gavin and Kunle, who are Arsenal fans. We have Cyril, who's a Manchester United fan. And then we have John, who is a Liverpool fan. Guys, thank you for stopping by and enjoy the show.
Gav, I've got a question for you.
Mhm.
If you're a bus driver and you drive the bus for 6 years, every year you crash the bus, should you lose your job?
First, we have John, Liverpool fan. John, say hi, buddy.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me on. Hope the rest of the guys are good. Glad to be on, man. Thank you again.
Nice to have you on, pal. Next up, we have Kunle, Arsenal fan.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. Let's see what people have to say.
Yeah, and then there's Gavin, also fellow Gooner. And then we have Cyril, Man United fan. Welcome.
You lot made me last year. Okay, I see what you're doing. I see what's happening here today. Thank you very much for having me on. To laugh at me. Appreciate you.
No one's laughing, bro. No one's laughing.
Right.
John, stop laughing. No one's laughing.
There's only one place to start. There's only one, and that's season review. So, John, I'm going to come to you first. As the Liverpool fan, you guys have won the league. Talk to me about how you feel your season has gone.
Have we got a time limit?
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
I say give everyone a couple of minutes. Your body.
Sorry,
Keep
guys.
it brief, please, John.
Sorry, I dropped something. It's quite heavy. Like it weighs a lot on my neck. Just keeps hitting the table. I don't know what it is. I wonder what it could be. I wonder. Oh, yeah. See, this bad boy. This is why we're here, guys. The Premier League. This is why we do what we do. This is why a lot of us are. This is a lot of the reason why we're friends, guys. Because of the teams. Because our shared enjoyment, in football, but also the rivalry that comes with, supporting a team like my team and a team that does, what it says on the tin. You know what's interesting? Before I get into the review, no one's asked me John, why are you wearing sunglasses at night? Who does that? Who is what's the time, guys? Stevie Wonder. Oh gosh, I wish it was Stevie Wonder, but
we know who does that. That's why we know the type of people that do that.
Oh, the type of people. Well, the reason why I personally, I can't speak for everyone else, on this panel tonight, this esteemed panel, I must add, yeah. But the reason why I wear sunglasses at night is because when I have to sit back and look at my trophy cabinet, it does a lot to your head. Brightness just, when you've won the most trophies in the country, you have to wear some. You can't just be looking at my team and just not be just blinded by the success, And I'm just grateful that I've been able to partake in that journey. I'm just grateful that I have owners like FSG, who come in on a budget. I'm not going to deny, they like to pinch their pockets, here and there.
Budget.
Right? But they come in, and they don't talk too much. One thing about my team, I can't talk for other teams. One thing about my team, don't do too much talking. Lo and behold, somehow we get a medal, which is why we do the 3 o'clock games on a Saturday, why we watch the 4:30 kickoffs on a Sunday, why we enjoy this sport that called football. And what my team has done for me this season, despite, going out to the winners of the Champions League. You know, despite playing, you know, a great Newcastle team in the final, and I was happy for that Newcastle team for them to win that league cup final. I forgot who went out to in the FA Cup, but anyway, that's neither here or there. But see, this makes up for it. It makes up for those hard nights. You know, when you get knocked out by a team who don't play as well as you, but they somehow manage to do one over on you. But I'm also thankful that we had a man like Arne Slot to come in, pretty much a nobody. No one really knew who he was, but he's come in and he said, like when I know we were all kids once and we've gone to the park and you're in I don't know if you've got like cages where you live or anything like that. And you'll be kicking ball with everyone, you know, everyone's having a good time, but then someone comes in and like, give me the ball. Give me the ball. Let me show you what time it is. And that's what he's done, Arne Slot. That's what he's done. So with that, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of my team. I'm proud of the players, the fans, you know, despite some of the infighting. And I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. But it's been an amazing season, you know. I'm glad I was able to go to up to Liverpool and celebrate in the parade. This means everything, you know. This put us back on our perch. We were able to enjoy the and have fun in and embrace our team winning the league. Because in 2019, we weren't able to do that, but we did it, and I'm so happy. And I can't ask so much more than that.
Nobody likes a sore winner. Okay, nobody likes a sore winner.
Oh no!
Okay.
Don't let him have his moment because everyone's gonna get their chance.
He's due to have his moment. But the only thing I will say though, one thing I find funny about all this is the way a lot of Liverpool fans are like, "Oh, do you believe my team now? Do you believe my team now?" But when they didn't even believe their team were going to win it themselves,
right then, Uncle Kunle preach.
That one
Uncle
doesn't make sense.
Kunle preach.
If you ask a lot of Liverpool fans, where do you think you'll come? Maybe third or fourth. And if
Top
you
four,
and you said, maybe top four, you didn't believe in us. Look at us now. It's like, but you didn't think you were going to win either. So it didn't make no sense. Either way, you've won the league. You get to do what you want, say what you want, wear glasses indoors like Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles. It's up to you. But yeah, in terms of Arsenal, for me, it was a poor season. One, for what we've allowed to happen, as we just saw. That's our fault. And also based on where we were going, where we thought we were going the past 2 seasons, the momentum we had built, the team that we had built, and just even the way we were playing. Most people at the start of the season, if you asked them, who do you think win the league, they would have said City, Arsenal, or Arsenal, City. It was always so. Yeah, so to allow Liverpool to just walk through, and fair play to them, they're the most consistent. I would say over a 38-game season, the stats don't lie. You can't fluke your way to a league. You can't fluke your way to a league. You can fluke your way to a cup, as we've seen many a team do, and then die after. But you can't fluke your way to a league.
What teams? What teams you seen do that?
Here and there. But either way, for Arsenal, I just thought it was a poor season overall, based on where we thought we were going. Even the business that we done, I thought was poor. And I was very vocal about
any
that.
Thoughts on that? How's that season gone for you?
I think it's been a decent season. I mean, if we look at the competitions as a club that we were in, we got knocked out of the Champions League by the eventual winners. We got knocked out of the League Cup by the eventual winners. We got scumbagged in the FA Cup by a fraud team who didn't win anything, and they let Spurs win something, which was. We had like it's just that was a bad look. The only team to finish us above us in the league were the actual winners, and we won the other Champions League, so we did well as a club. What are you laughing at? We won the Champions.
I can't say I agree to that though.
We won the Champions League. We won the Champions League. We got into the semis of the other.
The women's won the Champions League. I dare you.
I support. Hang on.
No.
Dave.
We support Arsenal Football Club. But all I'm
exactly.
Saying
is if we're gonna hang on, Kunle, let me speak, please, bro. Let me speak. I let you speak, brother. I let you finish. Let me finish. I support Arsenal Football Club, and unless we're saying, I'm not going on the internet and disregarding women's football. So we won the Champions League.
obviously equal.
Yeah, because when they
opportunity for
lifted the
all of them.
trophy,
Dave,
when they
Dave,
lift,
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave.
I don't understand.
Dave,
When everyone
Dave,
else spoke, I
I'm
let
gonna
them
leave.
speak.
Is,
Why are you
is,
not jumping all over?
is
Why
this
are
why
you
we
not
brought me
jumping
here?
all over?
David,
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
keeping quiet
understand.
why
right
you
now.
brought me here?
I'm keeping quiet.
Is this what we're doing? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Gavin. You know
But
what? Talk. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
listen, I would just like to say the opinions of each of the individual panel members are of their own. I respect women's football. Arsenal Football Club are European champions of the women's game, and we got to the semi-finals in the Champions League and got beaten by a phenomenal PSG side. Transfers could have been better. I do agree with Kunle there. But we're at the stage now where people think us finishing second and getting to the semi-finals of the Champions League is a poor season. I'll take that. That's our levels now. Some teams are just about beating relegation. Cyril, how was your season?
All right, okay. I already said this before, but first of all, congratulations to Liverpool for us finally letting them get onto their perch, as you just said just now, finally. And congratulations on your how many Premier Leagues is that?
20. So we,
No, the Premier League.
The Premier League, he said Premier League, not Division 1. Premier League.
But it's okay, don't worry, my bad. It's just clarifying Premier League from 1992. Anyway, cool. Congratulations on that. Anyway, we're still the biggest. You're most successful. We get it. Okay, so let me talk about United. So United, the new owners or whatever you want to call them, I think a lot of bad decisions were made right at the beginning, and I think coming into that space where they had what United was prior to them taking over, I think there was a lot of moving parts as they took over. So the decision to actually keep Erik ten Hag and then to then get rid of him, madness. To be fair, I kind of thought he was going to actually pull it through the season, but then obviously it was clear he wasn't going to do it. So calm. So then bringing on, I see what he's doing. It's cool. I like it. But yeah, so second, I think obviously bringing on Amarim, I see why they brought him on. But at the same time, I know for sure he did not think it was going to be what he came into. But then also, I think he's too smart and too clever. Like after the first couple of games, he said it's going to be pain. And after watching him, in his first few games, and I'm watching him do this, and he's seeing what we're seeing, but I could see he was seeing that. That's how I knew it was bad. But I think he's also done things on purpose to ruffle feathers across the whole entire club, to put people in the position that they are, whether it's the Rashfords, the Garnachos. I think even the move that he did to put Mount on over Garnacho in the finals, I think that was a deliberate move as well. So I think he's actually engineered us to be in the position that we're in right now, to then be able to now start to sort of rebuild, refresh from the new season. So really and truly, I'm not one of those fans like, get rid of him. He should have played that. He should have, would have, could have. He now has his own window. He has his own team. That's the only time I can really judge him based on what he does. If he could have done what Slot did, incredible. But we already know a lot of those players needed to go. So that's it. Now, as for the whole point of it is, where we are right now, it's shit. But, I think next season is going to be very different to what people assume is going to be. And the best part of it is, for Arsenal fans, because Arsenal fans seem to have the most smoke against United. I don't know why. They seem to have the most smoke against United, but I don't think Arsenal's season is going to go as they think it's going to go.
Why are we talking about Arsenal?
Why are we talking about Arsenal? Finish where they
you got a United shirt on. Why are you talking about Arsenal?
I'm just saying.
Why are you talking about Arsenal? You got a United shirt. Why are you talking about Arsenal?
I had to bring it in.
How's the United season going to go? Because if I do remember correctly, when Amaron came in last time, you said top 4. You were top 4, but it was top 4 the other way around.
Before we answers, can you, Dave? We're definitely recording, yeah, because I want to make sure this is documented. Go on, Cyril. How's your season gonna go?
Next season, my belief, it should be top 6, if not top 4. And I'm saying that, and I'm going to stay with that. And I'll own it. And do you know what the crazy? Okay, you know what's crazy though? I'm gonna say it.
Who's your top four? Who's your top four based on that? Who's your top four?
I'll tell you what I've thought about. I've thought that we could actually really compete next season, like as in compete for the league next season. That's what I've thought. Now,
John,
that's why I'm saying. Listen, this is the reason why I'm saying. I'm glad it's been
can you see this? Take off your glasses, son.
It has been documented because we can go back and we can either laugh at me or can be like, you know what? I see what he was saying there. I think Amarim.
You know, wait. Cyril. I love you, bro. I do. I genuinely love you. But do you know what it feels like you're doing right now? And I'm not trying to take the piss. I mean,
no, it's cool.
But you know, like, have you guys played basketball? Have you guys ever played basketball before? Ever?
Yeah.
Right? Did you ever try and throw the ball from the halfway line and get it into the net? Have you ever tried to do that before? Have you tried? You know when
he's trying to throw it from the other side of the court. That man didn't even get close. Where did you finish? I didn't even look at. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even check you lot's final position. Did you finish above the Tottenham? Because Tottenham finished 17th. So where did you lot finish?
We didn't finish above Tottenham. I don't know what you're talking about. But listen,
where did you finish? 10th.
John, 14th or 15th, I think.
John,
so you're going from 15th. You're going from 15th to 4th in one season. Oh, I forgot you lot are getting Embuemo in it. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Okay. All I'm saying to you guys, it's been documented. I've said what I've said. Come back in a year's time from now. I'm ready to hold the smoke. But
we'll be here. We'll be here.
That it will be different.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. We'll be here.
But I understand the logic and the thought process why everyone will say what I'm saying sounds wild, and I get it.
What are you basing it on? That's what I'm trying to get. What you're basing it on?
Hope.
As I said, I'm basing it on the fact that he's going to get rid of a lot of these players. He's going to bring in a couple of more players, and it doesn't.
But these are the players you thought were going to finish top 4 last season.
Bro, it's a different manager. It's a different person who's been.
You thought them players with that manager was going to finish top 4. You thought when Amarin come in, you was going to get top 4.
I thought it was
but he ended up. Didn't he lose the?
Every manager that's coming to United with those same players has been able to do hit and miss. And
when he doing Sam Allardyce numbers,
it was known that a lot of the players needed to go. Now a lot of those players are going, so now we can have a real look at it and see what it really is. What is really saying. That's all I'm saying. You know what's funny though, right? Regardless of what happens, like United is still United. As in, what I mean by that, it's not about the league position I'm talking about. United is still United. It's not like we're gonna go away. Like you mentioned something about Sunderland or something or Newcastle or whatever you mentioned before. United is still United, and we're gonna find our way. And whilst you make all the jokes and stuff, I'm probably just putting it back over to you. I know you were trying to turn on Henri over there because man said something about how long is the building phase going over. So I'm gonna switch it back onto you, Mr. Gavin. Next season, the women's football team wins again. Well done, congratulations.
Thank you, bro.
But the men's team, which is what you support,
I support. I support the club. Yeah? I support the football club. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you support the football club. So the men's part of the football club next season with Arteta is money and probably is going to be close to a Billy. However you want to break it down, what's spend this, net spend what the whole point of it is, close to a Billy. Are you going to be okay if there are no armpits lifted or raised, as long as you second?
No, I'm not.
So what are you going to say? You're going to say Arteta out, or you just Arteta in after that?
I'm not gonna. It depends on context whether it's him or not. So therefore, like this season, I can't really put this season on him with the injuries, with the fact that he. Hang on. You asked me a question. Let me answer it. Don't get rattled. We're talking about Arsenal now, because I'm not being funny. I'll try to understand what you meant by United, but I'll explain myself. I'm not going to beat around the bush like you did. I'm going to answer directly. I don't put this season on him. So if in context, he's sitting there in January asking for a striker again, or he don't get his striker this summer, I can't put it on him because I know the team's not good enough to compete with a Liverpool team that's just won it and they're spending crazy money again. They've got the most expensive goalkeeper, most expensive defender. They're going to have the most expensive 10 in the league. We can't compete against that with people like Martinelli being the contributor alongside Saka. We can't compete with that with our left 8 who probably ain't even as good as Rice in that position up front. It's not going to work. However, if we get the signings that I think we'll get, and the window ends how I think we'll win it, and he don't win the league, he's not the guy, and we're going to have to say goodbye. It's unfortunate.
Gav, I've got a question for you. Yeah,
Mhm.
if you're a bus driver and you drive the bus for 6 years,
Mhm.
but every year you crash the bus, should you lose your job?
He ain't crashed the bus.
Eh? Oh.
He ain't crashed the bus. Let me explain. Let me explain to you why. Yeah.
Yes,
Hang on. You've asked me a question. If I'm the bus driver and you don't expect me to get, I'm driving a coach from here to I'm in the Midlands. I'm driving from here to Brighton, and you think, hang on, let me finish. And I say to you, John, I'm gonna get to Brighton by 3:00, and you say, nah, you're not. No chance. Kunle's driving the bus. He's gonna get there, and Cyril's driving the bus. He'll get there before you. All right, cool. I drive the bus and I beat Cyril, but I don't beat Kunle. You're going to come to me and say you're rubbish. You didn't do what you said you're going to do. You didn't believe we were going to win the league. No one has ever said Arsenal were good enough. It was always City. Hang on. It was always City. It was always Liverpool. Those were the two favourites. And you lot had to. Am I lying?
No,
last season it was us and City.
Guys,
the season. All right, the season just gone. It was us and City. Granted.
Yes.
And we finished second, but there was let's say injuries don't matter, because when Liverpool had a feeble defense to their first Premier League title, it was, we lost our defenders, and everyone, all right, cool, you made a point. But when we're trying to compete with a Liverpool that was pretty much flawless, if you take Salah out of that team, do you win the league?
Probably not,
John. All right, cool. We lost our Salah. Salah.
No, what I'm saying
but that's the fact. We couldn't compete. We couldn't. No, the bus driver.
Even though you beat Cyril there, you crashed, bro. You crashed.
We didn't crash. We just didn't get there as quick as we thought we would. We didn't get there as quick as we thought we would. We didn't get. Furthermore, we didn't get there as quick as anyone thought we would. So it's not a crash. We ain't done what as a fan base we're expecting to do. We ain't done as what a club we're expecting to do. But if I said to you, I'll put the parameters there. If he gets all his players and he gets the signings I'm expecting him to get, and the fan base need us to get, and what Bert is meant to come here to do, he's got no excuse. But if they leave him in January asking again for a striker and they're not giving it to him, and we got Marino playing up top against PSG, and we expect him to win us the Champions League,
isn't that to do with
I
your
can't
squad,
put it on the manager. Huh?
But you can, because why wasn't that striker bought in the summer?
Arteta don't do the shopping. Anyone that thinks Arteta's the one out here buying players,
do the shopping.
I think you don't understand.
Can I ask a question?
I think you don't understand.
You're right, Gavin. You're right. Can I ask you a question though? When you lost your main striker, when was that? Who was that again?
Havertz.
About who?
Aubameyang, yeah. We bought Jesus, and then before. Hang on, when we had Aubameyang, yeah.
So you bought Jesus in replacement for Aubameyang. Who made that decision? Yeah. Who bought that?
I don't know. I don't work at the club, but I presume it was between Edu and Arteta.
So none of these players are Arteta's players. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. Let me respond to you. Yeah, we brought Aubameyang. We had Aubameyang. Aubameyang left. Where was we finishing in the league with Aubameyang? How many times were we expected to win the league with Aubameyang?
So it was that one player that
I'm asking you a question. How many times were we anyone on the panel can answer my question, because Cyril don't want to. When we had Aubameyang, how many times were we expected to win the league? How many years did we compete in the Champions League with Aubameyang?
But it was that one player.
You can say a number between 1 and 10. How many times?
I don't know.
0. None. The answer is 0. We weren't expected to win the league with Aubameyang. We weren't in the Champions League with Aubameyang. He signed Jesus. So his players got us to the point where you man are saying he has to win the league. That's where he's got us to. That's where the likes of Jesus and Havertz have got us to. So talking about Aubameyang is irrelevant, because we won an FA Cup. Granted, we scumbagged our way to an FA Cup, and we've seen what teams that scumbag their ways to titles and don't fix their squad and don't buy quality and end up just talking about winning cups. What happens to you? You end up giving Spurs their first title longer than I've been alive. And that's crazy to me. I don't want that. What I want to do is win the big ones. And he is building towards winning the big ones. I don't like what Henri said could have been valid. But there's them things for me, if you've got a family member that's moving a bit mad, you don't go on national TV with his ops and be talking about it. Speaking privately, for me, it was a bit of a clout chase from Henri.
Now, because this season for Arteta, you'll find if he doesn't, basically, there are many fans already jumped off the boat, the Arteta boat, and there are some that are now on the edge.
Crashed.
And this,
Just saying.
This season is like the season where those who are on the edge will jump, and then you're gonna find those left on the Arteta boat will just be you and your paddle, because it's
okay. All right, cool. Let's say that he crashes again and you don't win it. Yeah, cool. But if he does, there's going to be a lot of fans that look stupid for calling him out.
Not really.
And for me,
it's valid.
No,
what?
It's valid.
Valid.
Bro.
It's 6 years. 6 years is valid.
Look.
So this yard man with the Arteta out and calling for Ranieri to come and take over him ain't gonna look stupid.
I'm on the bus and I'm going to work. Arteta's crashed the bus again. I'm gonna write.
He ain't crashed the bus. Clarify what crash the bus means. What does crash the bus mean?
Hold on. Yeah. I get on the bus. Arteta crashed the bus again. My boss is like, "Why are you late, bro? Big man, Arteta crashed the bus, bro. What do you want me to do?"
What's crash the bus? What is crash the bus?
Hold on. I'll explain.
Not winning a title.
Next
not
time,
how is that crash the bus? Based on whose barometer?
Hold on. Yeah, this happens 6 years in a row. I'm late to work. It's not just me.
You're chatting waffle, bro. You're chatting waffle.
Hold on.
You're chatting waffle.
You're not letting me land.
Because we're in 2020. Let me show you why I'm not letting you land. Because we're in 2025. He got the job in December 2019. 6 years. And in year one, he weren't expected to win the league. So this 6 year is gas. It was one season. You lot expected us to win the league. One season. The season when he had the most injuries in the league, where you've admitted without Salah, you won't win the league. So we wouldn't have won the league without Saka. So you're chatting rubbish when you're saying it's 6 years nonsense, bro. It's not been 6 years.
Bro,
he ain't even had a job 6 years.
If I'm getting on that bus, I'm not getting to work on time. My manager's going to be like, "Why are you late all the time?" I'm going to complain to TFL, be like, "Big man, sort out your drivers because I'm late to work all the time." Hold on.
The sunglasses and do-rag look sick, but your analogy's wass, bro. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. It's rubbish.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day,
it's rubbish. Your analogy's poor.
And when we deliver, when you deliver, you either win trophies or you win leagues. He's crushed 6 years in a row. It is what it is.
All right, John. Honestly, hand on heart, how many seasons did you expect Arsenal to win the league?
3.
In the last 5 years?
3.
You chatting, brother?
3.
You're a liar.
3.
You're a liar.
I'll just give you 3.
You're a liar.
This season, last season, and the season before. 3.
You expected us when we you expected us when we signed Jesus to go from 5th to win it. You expect us to go from 5th to win it.
For the last 2 seasons.
It has to be last two. No. It's not about that, but you understand the first season, even though we were winning, everyone knew, and everyone always says it's about experience. We didn't have the experience to win a league at that point, and no one expected.
Thank you, Kudley. What happened the season after? What were they saying? What were they saying the season after that?
He crashed.
You can't. He went to the last day. That's not.
John's just talking. What happened the season after that? When we went to the last at the beginning of the season, John, you've answered the question. You expected Arsenal to win.
No, but if you're saying that we crashed going to the last day, that means Klopp crashed many times.
Of course, he lost.
That's not crashing.
Liverpool fans are the worst, They turn on their Messiah. Liverpool fans are turned on their Messiah. They got that new gal and they forgot about the ex. Listen, let me tell you something. It
was about winning. If you don't land, what are we doing here? Do you get it?
Fair.
And like I said with my analogy before, where if my man's getting me late to work, I'm going to complain to TFL. Everyone's going to complain. He's going to lose his job.
John, I hear what you're saying, but you're adding so much sauce. It's not been 6 years. You're lying when we can go through the group chat. We can go through the group chat now, and I bet you there's probably not even 1 year you predicted us to win the league. Not once. You never predicted us to go from 5th to winning the league. You never predicted us. And then after we didn't win the league the first time around, everyone was saying it was a fluke. We're going to struggle to keep up with City the second time. It was only last season people were saying you lot got to the last day. you lot will win the league this season. I expect Arsenal to win the. That's once, bro.
I've had
That's
many
once, bro. That's once, bro. One season, and in that season, we had bag of injuries, and our board fucked up in the transfer window. Those are the facts.
What's that?
So I'm going to come to you on this next subject, okay? Now, the reason why I'm starting with you is because I think you're an expert in low quality standards when it comes to football. In your opinion, was this season low quality?
What I find funny is that the people who said the most about it being low quality is Arsenal fans.
Oh God, here we go. You love talking about Arsenal, innit? You love talking about Arsenal, innit?
You come up.
You love talking about Arsenal, innit?
I'll ask you a question. Okay. Are you saying I'm saying that right? How many Liverpool fans? How many Man City fans? How many Chelsea fans?
You can't use Man City. There aren't that many.
Fair point. I know that I live in Manchester. But how many of those fans have you heard mention about what a low quality season it was, and about the points and all of that stuff there?
I've heard it all over. I've heard many fans say it, all various fans.
To be fair, I've heard the various. It's not just Arsenal.
Exactly. You got Tottenham fans. Tottenham finished just above the relegation zone. Their fans ain't saying nothing about it being a great season.
I'm not saying it's been a great season. What I'm saying is what Arsenal fans are doing, trying to cling on to that and then try to be like, oh, that's the reason why this and that's the reason why this. And your manager was the one that said it about, oh, if this was the season, if it was that, whatever, the points would have been this and points would have been that, all that kind of talk there. And once he started running with that narrative, what happened to the rest of you lot? Yeah, and
all right, cool. If I ever
this, let me talk, bro. How many times, this season it became about injuries was a factor, but then when United had injuries, I think the season before, it wasn't a factor. It was get on with it. But this season,
whoa.
This season,
let him finish. I
want to kill that myth because he's used that a lot of times where he said, when you had your injuries, you were losing to Bournemouth at home, Palace at home.
This is why
it's not the same.
As I was about
to say. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
You didn't finish second. It weren't the same.
You didn't let me finish what I was saying.
Go on.
All right. Okay, cool. We didn't finish second, but if the injuries impact us, we could have finished a place, 2 places above, 3 places above, whatever the case may be. That's the whole point.
13th.
Whatever the case, no, it was 8th that we finished. But anyway, the whole point.
Oh, so 6th. That's 6th.
But again, this is what I'm saying. What always happens with Arsenal fans, okay, and I'm pointing at you guys because obviously you guys are the ones making the most of this. You will always draw to that. Oh, it's slightly different because it's us. Because it's slightly different because we're pushing for the league. So therefore, the injuries, no, injuries are injuries. That's it. We're in the same league. Injuries are injuries, and you know how all the games are important to every team. So to now say, oh well,
can you just say that again? Injuries are what?
But it makes no difference. You lost to Bournemouth and stuff. You still didn't you lose to Bournemouth? Didn't same league?
You lost to everybody. Anyway, let me. Sorry, Dave. What was the question? What Dave? Sorry, because I think there's something on my screen. There's something on my screen because it says, "Was the season low quality?" Not what did Arsenal. Not what did Arsenal fans think of the season. Cyril, stop talking about us, man. Keep talking about us.
It was low quality in terms of, for example, United and Spurs. Not only being in that position, but then for them to be in the final as well, I think that wasn't great. I think it was low quality that United was doing so terrible, and we still beat the Arsenal, who's with 10 men. With 10 men, we still.
That was the highlight of your season, isn't it?
It wasn't.
Highlight of your season, isn't it?
I'm just saying it's like stuff like that. Now, from a fan's point of view, when you're looking at that, you'd actually expect Arsenal to have won that. But to be fair, it's Arsenal, so we know what happens with them anyway. All the expectations never reached to nothing. But the whole point of that is that in that scenario there, you would have expected that to have been their game, for them to have won that. So I think even like with Crystal Palace, they did a good job. I think in general throughout the season with the teams, whether it was in the league or within the Premier League teams, I don't think the people that we thought was going to win it won things that they should have won. I think, arguably, we thought it was Arsenal or City. No one saw Liverpool coming, which is
What about
fair.
United?
No one saw coming. But yeah, it's all in all, yes, it's been a low quality season. But the asterisk is Arsenal fans are using that to build the reason why they finish second. Again,
John.
Didn't get to a
John,
final.
let me throw this question to you, okay? Yeah. Now, before you respond, all right, let me just read something to you. Take this all in, okay? In 33 seasons, your tally of 84 points is the ninth lowest of all time, okay? It's the lowest points in 9 seasons. That's almost a decade since Leicester won the league in 2015-16, okay? 85 points is the average across all 33 seasons for title-winning teams. You got 84, meaning you're below that average. With that in mind, was this season low quality?
The answer is yes, John.
Why only 33 seasons? Just out of curiosity, why only why not the hundreds of seasons? Like why?
Because that's when the Premier League started. 33 seasons.
What 92?
1992.
92. Look, what do you want, guys? Do you want me to answer the question?
We want you to be honest. 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 You want you to be honest.
I want to be honest. Okay. Are you sure? Because I don't want to be. I want to land, innit? Do you get me? So if I can't land, then I can't be honest. Does that make sense? I have the
Be
floor,
honest.
yeah? Okay, cool. So this season was not low quality, guys. Like, what are we doing? What we doing? Like, I thought my friends were esteemed members of the sport that we know and love called football, and we all understand that it's not all based on numbers. There's a thing called the eye test, and the eye test says, that's what the eye test says. Says this. Don't say nothing about 85 points was the average. No one cares, bro. Nobody cares. This is what matters. It don't matter about how many points you got. You won the league. History books won't look back and be like, oh, in 33 seasons. No one's gonna care, bro. I understand the sentiment of the question, and I get the question. Part of me does feel as if like it's a means to almost devalue the win.
Coping mechanism.
Yeah, like there's a little bit of that in it, because you know what? Other teams need to have a reason to why they didn't do what they needed to do to soften the blow. So I love the word copium because that comes into play. And having this conversation enables those fans to deal with that copium and not let it sit in their heart and their chest that they didn't win the league. Do you understand? So the easier it is to come to some form of conclusion as to why we didn't do what we had to do, because it wasn't really based on us. It was based on all the other things around us that now did not enable us to do what we needed to do. That is not my fault. That is not my problem. I don't know if you guys have played Sunday League before. Sometimes on a Sunday, these men don't turn up. Do you know what though? You still got to play. You still got to play. You still got to do what you got to do. You do what you have to do. These men get paid big racks to do what they need to do. Do you understand? Now, I'm not going to bring the money into it because I don't know a man's heart and a man's chest and his beliefs and this, what, and that not. But what I do know is that Arsenal got quality players. Man United got quality players. Spurs got quality players. Chelsea got quality players, but they didn't perform.
So it was low quality then, because none of us performed.
Hold on, Salah's done record-breaking numbers this season. From what I gather, I don't think there's been anyone better than him in Europe this season. If this season was low quality, then why didn't someone else win the league but us? I'm a bit confused. The season was that low quality.
I think two things can be true at the same time.
Exactly.
I think Liverpool were the most consistent and the best team. But if you look at all the teams, the main guys, your Spurs, your United, even City, everyone's standard dropped. So overall, I think it was low, but I think Liverpool maintained their standard.
I think it's actually been a quality season. I think it's been probably one of the most competitive seasons we've had in a while. We've got teams in the top 6 that you wouldn't.
You're the most
necessarily
competitive,
see.
but you still have for
Like
Spurs and
and
United
there's been
to be
there's been
16th and 17th
there's
at
been an
one point.
even spread of points spread this season. I think one of the most spread ever, if I stand corrected by that. But it's been a great season, and you can't go to Bournemouth anymore and get 3 points. It's not that simple anymore. You can't go to Forest and dunk on them anymore. It's not that easy. Do you get it? Even Newcastle shown what they're about to see. Villa have been just good. Like it's been almost like not a top 8 race, but the top 8 have been fighting amongst themselves this season. And I think based on that, I think it's been it's been a quality season despite how it's turned out for other teams. Yeah, there's going to be injuries. Like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Arsenal fans, but your top scorer's only got 9 goals, but yet you still finished second. You see what I'm saying? So that just means you've been spreading the goals around your team. You've been popping it about. Because I think you finished the league second highest top goal scorers in the league, right?
I think overall, I just thought it can be seen as low quality because for the fact that you see United where they are, Spurs where they are, City, don't forget City had a mega drop off and then picked it up right at the end. Chelsea. I think they went the whole of December without winning one game. So there were, I think, look, either way, people can dress it however they want. And when people say, it's just Arsenal fans, that one, I've heard all fan bases try to use the low quality season to excuse their season. So it's not just Arsenal. Obviously, everyone likes to use Arsenal for the clicks.
So check this. You said about the points, Dave. You were like, so the average is 85, and so they were 1 point away from the average when they won it. And for clarity, it was 6 points away from when Arsenal were the Invincibles with 28 draws.
What type of figures are you talking?
What's that got to do with anything?
And plus
what's that got to do with anything?
The Invincibles got 90 points. The Invincibles got 90 points. Only 7 teams in the Prem have touched 90 or plus.
But what I'm saying is, so the point I'm just saying then is, if you're 6 points away from many teams which have touched 90 points, if you're 1 point away from the average over the 33 years or whatever years it was,
you're below average.
How does then, no, I'm just asking, how does then this low quality really add up when it was 1 point away from the average? And then more importantly, your best thing that you guys can say that you've had came from 28 draws. So what does that really mean about the low quality?
You're reaching. Because you even said yourself you thought it was a low quality season. So what are you talking about right now? Why are we talking about the Invincibles?
But I'm just asking you a question. What does the low quality really mean? Because you guys won it on, you guys Invincibles on 28 draws. Is that low quality or is that high quality? Like, what do you judge?
How many points did we get?
90. So 6 points more than this one. So that's 2 games, 1 more technically.
All right, cool. Well, maybe I can't remember. I can't remember the season, but maybe that was a low quality season as well. But we still did it undefeated, and no one else has.
So what's the relevance of low quality then, if that's your best thing you've ever accomplished?
Because it was a question that Dave asked for the podcast.
Yeah, but you like been talking about low quality. But what does it really mean? What does it really mean though? Low quality, because
you tell us, because you said it too. It's on recording. You just said it was a low quality season.
You asked me a question, I gave you an opinion, but what I'm saying to you is, in the context of my feedback is, in the grand scheme of things, all that matters is you fucking win. That's it. Hands up. That's it.
I said that. Big up Liverpool.
Know about winning.
Fair enough. Lads, I'm gonna end it there. Yeah.
I like that point though. You see that point? That was a good point there.
No, it wasn't. It was dead. It was dead. You was reaching.
Yeah.
You didn't like.
Where's the 28 draws from? Where did you get your stats from?
We'll end it there. Yeah.
Chat GPT lied to him.
28 wins and 12 draws.
Was that 28 draws there?
Right.
You fumbled all over the place, bro. You tried.